Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We're from Group 6 and we're going to presentation about a breakthrough on macOS evolution in the technology industry. But before that, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Afifah Ivana Putri.
My name is Azzahra Halimatusa'diah.
My name is Nauval Uzlah Firmansyah.
First of all, what is operating system? The operating system is the most important software that runs on a computer. It manages the computer's memory and processes. As well as all of its software and hardware, it is also allows you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer's language. Without an operating system, a computer is useless. Most of the time, several different computer programs are running at the same time, and they all need to access your computer's central processing unit or CPU, memory, and storage. The operating system coordinates all of this to make sure each program gets what it needs. Examples of operating system are macOS, Linux, Microsoft Windows, DOS, Android, and others. The operating system contains commands that will be accessed by the computer if we ask for them. History of operating system. The first generation operating system were first introduced in the 1940s. They were created without any operating system. All programming was done in obsolete machine language, often by wiring up blockboards to control the machine's basic function. During this generation, computers were generally used to solve simple math calculation. Operating systems were not needed. Second generation operating system is in the 1950s were called single-stream batch processing system because the data was submitted in groups. These new machines were called mainframes, and they were used by professional operators in large computer rooms. Since there was such a high price tag on these machines, but several operating system functions already exist. For the example, the function of the operating system is FMS and IBSYS. The third generation by the late 1960s. The introduction of multi-programming was a major part of the development of operating system because it allowed a CPU to be busy nearly 100% of the time that it was in operation. These microcomputers helped create a whole new industry and the development of PDPS. This PDPS helped lead to the creation of personal computers, which are created in the fourth generation. The fourth generation was introduced in 1980 until now. The fourth generation of operating system saw the creation of personal computing. Although this computer was very similar to the mini computers developed in the third generation, personal computers cost a very small fraction of what mini computer cost.
The next chapter is History of macOS. Apple has the largest and most diverse products ecosystem in history. But with all these new products, it's easy to forget that Apple started as a computer company. So in this chapter, we are going to explore history of macOS. The beginning of macOS goes back to 1984. That is when Apple introduced the Macintosh, which was the first commercial computer to feature a graphical user interface and mouse. This made the machines much more easier to use and more accessible to people who may not be interested in technology. Apple's goal was to create a computer with outlines like simplicity, and for that reason, the early version of macOS didn't have a specific name. First, there is Macintosh System First. Introduced some incredibly powerful features that remain a crucial part of macOS to this day. It had 5 basic headers on the desktop, the Apple menu, file edit view, and spatial, and also featured 7 desk accessories like the alarm clock, a basic 10-button calculator, a control panel, keycaps, and 15 place slide puzzle and scrapbook. And also, the next version is macOS 10 Cheetah, macOS 10 Cheetah is the first major release and version of macOS, Apple desktop and server operating system. It introduced a brand new code base completely supported from macOS 9 as well as previous Apple operating system, and had a new Unix-like core Darwin, which features a new memory management system with different user interface called Aqua UI. But this version was missing some features like DVD playback, disk burning, and printer and device support. And the next version is macOS 10.6 Snow Leopard. In 2009, macOS 10 Snow Leopard is released and a single best macOS 10 release ever, which in this operating system you'll get one of the best improvements such as the Mac App Store. This way, the final version of macOS 10 to be exclusively released on physical disk. And also, the next version is macOS Big Sur. The next release is in 2020 from macOS. Big Sur marks the beginning of a completely new era for the Mac. Not only it is the first macOS 11 release, but it's finally bringing the Mac into the modern era of technology. Big Sur is the first macOS release to be optimized for Apple's graphic will be much more powerful and the machine will run cooler and quieter. And the next version is macOS Monterey. The 18th major release of macOS, Apple's desktop operating system for Macintosh computer, it was announced at WDC 2021 on June 7, 2021, and is expected to be released later in 2021. Universal Control, which allows a single keyboard and mouse to interact across multiple Mac and iPads at once.
And now we are going to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of using a Mac operating system. The first one is, we are going to talk about the advantages first. The first one is streamline user interface without compromising its functions. One of the advantages of macOS over other operating system is a simpler and more streamlined user interface. Second is lesser malware and other security issues of vulnerabilities. Another notable advantage of macOS is one of the reasons why Mac computers are better than Windows-based PC. The third one is integration with other Apple devices, such as iOS. One of the remarkable strengths of Apple is that most of its products and services are completely integrated, thus creating a single ecosystem. Take note that the iPhone or iPad works the best with a Mac computer, especially for backing up, troubleshooting, and managing of the file installed on the particular iOS devices. The fourth one is the display. The current range of Retina MacBooks and iMacs both screen that feature anti-reflective coatings and no air gap. The fifth one is the components. The argument that Macs feature better quality components has been mocked since the switch to Intel processor in 2006. And now we're going to talk about the disadvantages. The first one is expensive. The minimum cost of Mac PC is higher than 1,000 US dollar. With 1,000 US dollar, you can get a good Windows PC with more hardware specification. The second one is fewer games and software. Most app developers prefer to make games for the Windows OS because they have more percentage of users. The third one is no hardware customization. We cannot change macOS hardware like processors, graphic cards, and etc. And now we are going to talk about the breakthrough. Okay, System 1 total size is about 261 kilobytes and contains 6 files, such as System, Finder, Clipboard, Image Writer, Printer Driver, Scrapbook, and a Notepad. System 1 also came with multiple desk accessories, such as alarm clock, a calculator, control panel, keycaps, notepad, puzzle, and a script. A difference between desktop accessories and application is that multiple desktop accessories could be run at once, but only one application could run at a time. These accessories could also run on top of any application. And now we're going to talk about the new latest OS is macOS Monterey. Monetary features are redesigned with simplified toolbars, buttons, and menus. It looks like Apple iOS and iPad OS. Other features from Apple mobile operating system were introduced here, such as control panel with shortcuts to frequently used text. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.